So let's just get straight into it with the Adams family. Sorry, the Adelson family. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is the ploys that they got up to, particularly Wendy. Not the alibis, because there was umpteen alibis to cover what she was doing at a certain time, bigger moves that she made. And I'm not too sure whether Wendy came up with these or Donna. Now, I think a lot of people will suspect it was Donna. Put it down in the comments what you think. I suspect it was Wendy, because you'll know when I get to them anyway. But I'll tell you why now. Because Donna was too rushed for everything to happen. Dressed the kids in that particular fancy dress, if you remember. She was too brash. She was like a bull in a china shop. Wendy's more calculated, and this is why I think the ploys were decided by Wendy. She might have let her parents or Charlie think it was their idea, but no. I've always said all along, Wendy's the instigator. Donna, as I've said, she's put her foot on the gas, put things in motion. And Charlie, Maestro, he's just a Dumbo. He really is the Dumbo. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. But before I go any further, quick disclaimer, my name's Dawn, you found Lounge Bar Crime. Everything you hear in this video is from my own research, it's my opinion, and it's for entertainment purposes only. That out of the way, let's get to it. Now, one of the first ploys I think Wendy put in place was the counselling. We all know that was done for a reason. I'd like to know who arranged that counselling. You see, it could have been arranged by Dan at Wendy's suggestion. We don't know. Or it could have been Wendy to Dan. Obviously, she was stringing him along and she was making everything look good. That's for the work colleagues and, you know, Dan's family to say, yeah, Wendy's arranged counselling for us and all that lot. It was a ploy. It's just a ploy. I don't think Donna would have come up with that, because the reason why I don't think she would have come up with it was she would have been too scared in case it worked. And Wendy all of a sudden saw the light and thought, actually, I will give this another go. So I don't think Donna would suggest that at all for a minute. Another ploy put in place by Wendy, obviously, was Dan's birthday party, inviting everybody to a birthday drinks at the house, and then not being there. I'm not quite sure what her motive in that was. But you see, again, that would obviously be Wendy. She invited all his friends, other than to make it look like, look, you know, I'm really trying, and people go, oh, you know, but Wendy invited us. Wendy sent out these invites. This is what I meant with the other ploy, that I don't think none of these was Donna. This was all Wendy. Wendy's smart, and all this, she's been pushed around by her mum and Charlie. Load of rubbish. Load of rubbish. There's two women that wear the pants in that house, and that's Donna and Wendy. Can you say that? Can you still say that they wear the pants? Too late. Come out. Said it. Anyway, yeah, obviously Donna didn't arrange that. Wendy arranged that. Them birthday drinks and all the invites and everything was to make it all look like the lovely housewife, dedicated wife and all that. So that was another ploy. Because basically, I don't think that Wendy was that nice, and I don't think a lot of their acquaintances and friends thought that Wendy was that nice. So it's just not the kind of thing you could imagine her doing. I mean, I don't even know her, but from what I've read about her and from what I've seen her on the stand and in that interview, yeah, that is not the Wendy that she portrays to be. So that didn't add up. Now, this dating Jeffrey Lacasse, I've always said it right from the start, That was a ploy. I think I actually said in one of the earlier videos that I did that Jeffrey Lacasse was not in the right financial bracket for Wendy. Even though he had the look of Dan. I think there was a reason for that as well. I think the reason for that was that it would make it all a lot easier for him, and she wasn't going to fall for somebody that looked like Dan. So it was easier to keep Jeffrey Lacasse at a distance because he looked like Dan. I mean, she got into enough arguments with him. She was only literally with him for properly for 4 months. I'm sure that's what Jeffrey Lacasse says.
I want to draw your attention back to 2014. Did you have a relationship with Wendi Adelson?
I did.
What type of relationship was that?
She was my girlfriend for about 4 months.
When did that relationship begin?
We dated in the fall of 2013, but casually we became a serious couple, I would say, around late February of 2014.
And when did the relationship end?
Well, that's a little tricky, but in July of 2014.
All right. And during the time that you were together with Ms. Adelson, did you become aware of her recent divorce?
I did. On our first couple of dates, that was the topic of conversation. That's in the fall of 2013.
All right. And did you get an impression as to what type of divorce that was or how it would be characterized?
An extremely contentious divorce.
And Jeffrey Lacasse did say that he didn't really invite Wendy much to his place because he felt slightly embarrassed by it, because he'd seen her place, and he didn't feel that he was in the same league. I don't know why. He's well out of her league, far too good for her. But obviously he didn't feel like that, and she didn't help and make him feel any better. He felt like that all the way through the relationship. She just had him running amok, and yeah, it was a ploy. It was a ploy to use him as the fall guy. There was all these reasons. She had Jeffrey Lacasse, or she thought she had Jeffrey Lacasse banged to rights. I don't think she thought for a minute that Jeffrey Lacasse was going to turn on her, and that. And even then in court, I've said it before when Tara Carras said, you know, he's a nice guy. She went, well, he wasn't, you know, until this. He was until he started doing to me what I was doing to him, even though he had more right. Well, he had every right, and she had none. Yeah, the other ploy was going for the walk with Jane. Yeah, because she needed to fill her with all the BS about Dan and how Jeffrey Lacasse was so jealous. I mean, I don't know how Jane's not woke up to this at all. I honestly don't know if she has woke up to it, or she's got a feeling, but she just doesn't want to admit it because she looks an idiot, so she'd rather act innocent. But I mean, all she has to do really is just look back at that interview and think about the walk that she went to with her a few days ago, leading up to the shooting, and then just watch Wendy in that interview. Who could it be, Jane? Who would do this? Jane, are you catching on? And she did. So it looks like Jane thought of it. Absolute idiot. So yeah, that was all a ploy. Just going back to Jeffrey Lacasse a moment as well, and the other reason it was an obvious ploy is because Jeffrey Lacasse did say on the stand that he didn't really get very close to Donna and Harvey, even though he did meet them a few times when he picked Wendy up. But also he went to an evening with them, and not with them, met them there. He went with Wendy, met them there, and most people, like if my son brought a girlfriend to a function or something, I would go over and introduce myself and be polite, don't you, and have a chat. And there was none of that. Jeffrey felt that they stayed clear of him. I think it was a bit of a nod and whatever. Now, I don't know the date of that. Obviously, it was leading up to Dan's murder, but that tells me that Harvey and Donna both knew. Like I've said before, even if Donna knew and Harvey didn't, Harvey would have gone over to Jeffrey Lacasse, and he didn't. And that's why that's another reason, not only because of that, that's another reason why I felt Harvey knew about this all along, apart from being ka-ching for the whole thing. Yeah, that was the other reason. These aren't ploys now. These are just other little things that I'm not really seeing mentioned much. But Mental Lawyer had a video up about with a mutual friend of Wendy's and Dan's, and she did say on it, I'll play it for you. She did say on it that she actually looks like she's torn a bit, but it appears that she could see through Wendy, and it also appears that she was closer to Dan, even though she tried to be friends with both of them leading up to this. It appears that the penny's been dropping, and she's gone in to see the detective. Anyway, she says this.
So he would go up, and she was scheduled to come down and meet the boys in person for the first time, which recently just happened. So he was all excited about that, and she had started Skyping with the boys. My understanding was that Wendy had found out that she was Skyping with the boys and was furious about it. And this is very recently.
I didn't know that.
So Amy had started coming more into the boys' lives, and I don't think she was handling it well from what I've heard.
So I don't really know what Wendy's problem was with Amy Skyping and visiting the boys. If she'd moved on and she didn't want to know, why would she care about Dan? She's an absolute control freak. Absolute control freak. Nothing more. I'm moving on, Dan. I'm taking everything. Well, I've took everything. Heirlooms included. And you stop getting on with your life and stop this with Amy. I don't like this. I don't like the fact that they're getting pally with her. Why? So, you see, for Wendy, it wasn't just about moving to Florida. It was. That was the main thing. And she was going to take full control and keep them children away, because she's still not give a good enough reason why Ruth and Phil can't see the grandchildren, or she stopped them seeing the grandchildren. The reasons are absolutely ridiculous, and from her own admission, she thought it wasn't a case of she was trying to take the children away. She thought, and also that friend of Wendy's and Dan's, also, she said this also. Listen to this.
When I walked into Wendy's yesterday, and I'm assessing the situation, and Janine was there, and they went into a private conversation, and I'm sitting down, and they're like, well, does Amy, we'd have to talk to Amy, and and I said, I talked to Amy, and I said, does she know? They said, yeah, she knows. And they're like, no, not what happened. Does she know? As if, does she know where the investigators are looking, was the implication. And I said, what do you mean? And the next question was, Wendy redirected, and she said, has she talked to her husband? And so she started down this path with Janine there of making me wonder, or wanting to make me wonder if Amy's husband was involved. I still didn't feel led that way, even with that discussion change. But that was the path. Wendy is good at keeping things close to the vest and redirecting. And for example, she and I were pretty close while she was writing that book. She didn't tell me she was writing the book at all.
Just want to interrupt this video just to say, if you're enjoying this video, even if it's just a tidgy bit, then press the subscribe button, press the like button, and leave us a comment. Help the channel out. So she's also, this is the day after the murder, and she's round at Wendy's, and she's picked up also about more or less how Wendy redirects questioning and people's thoughts, really. She manipulates a conversation, and she's trying to convince the people that are sat there in that conversation that that Amy's husband, she's still drip feeding him. She gaslights, and that's what she's done with her mother. Her mother didn't need much gaslighting. Her mother just puts things into action, and she's just like a bull in a china shop. And Charlie's right behind her. Mummy, Mummy dearest, I'll do this for you, I'll do that for you. But Wendy's planted all them seeds. Right from writing that book, she's planted all them seeds. So they're the Ploys. So let's just have a little bit of a laugh, should we, at Wendy's expense. Not at the case. The case is nothing to laugh at. Wendy is, though. She actually believes what her mother's told her, that she's a fantastic actress and all this lot, and you know how to do it. You've done it loads of times. First of all, I don't really think that the detectives, maybe they have it in some cases, I'm not really sure that they've had enough praise, really. Particularly that Detective Isom at the start. He kind of like gave her a bit of a slap in the face right at the start when he said this to her.
Or does it stop automatically?
It's done.
Okay. Do you have your identification with you? So you never took the last name of Markel?
No.
Adelson.
No. You could tell that, like she was a bit shocked about that. Like, why do no, she didn't really. I mean, she kind of got her shit together after that and started to know how to handle him, let's say, to a degree. She didn't get away with much with him. I felt he was really, really good. Especially like when he was saying about, you've got a lot of friends and how do you know? And he said, oh well, he was with some today, and I've done all that previously in other videos, but he was on it. He didn't give anything up, and he threw a questioning back at her in a lot of ways. Anyway, I just want you to have a little look at this other bit as well in the interview. Detective Isom is asking her some questions, and she's looking in her phone to find out when this happened and everything. But don't forget, on the stand, she says, I mean, she even did the actions. She deletes everything once it's done. She deletes it. A to-do list, everything's deleted, and messages, they're all deleted. But she's looking for when people came, and this Amy, Dan's girlfriend, and she's looking in her phone.
Sorry.
It's okay. You're doing great.
So what date was it? I went with my family. It was my dad's 70th birthday, and we went home for it. So his birthday was the 5th. I left Monday the 30th, so she must have come into town Saturday, the evening of the 28th.
What month? June? This past June?
Just now. So, June 28th, and then she was there with the boys the 29th, and then I met her on the morning of the 30th when I picked up the kids.
And I'm thinking, well, I thought you deleted everything. She then also makes it really, really clear that it might be in the deleted part. So we all know now, through her saying that what she left in her deleted was what she wanted him to see. So all the mundane stuff, she just deleted and left there. Anything juicy that she deleted, then she deleted from the deleted as well. So just one last thing before I go. Just watch this last bit and what Wendy says in this.
I can't remember their names now.
Alan and Lynn.
Right.
They live really close to me.
Okay.
You look like you've had a long day.
I have. Okay, so we'll be getting ready to go in just a minute, okay?
Okay, well, I don't have a lot of stuff to take with me.
I know,
Can
I
I
know.
throw out the tissues in the trash can?
Yeah, but we're not there yet. I just wanted to let
I'll
you
get a
know.
trash can for you before you go, don't worry.
Okay, because I'm making some
It's okay. Do you want me to go with you on any of this?
So she's more or less asking him what she should do with these tissues. This big mound of dry tissues. Because it's a big mound of tissues, and she kept making a big deal out of getting a new tissue. But can I say something? And you'll know this, because we've all had these life experiences where something really tragic has happened, or something really sad, or something like that, where you've been to a hospital and we've all had different experiences, whatever. But you end up, you're upset and you're devastated and all this, you end up with a tissue. Excuse me for this, but it's the truth. It's just filled with snot, tears and everything. There's not a dry patch on it. You don't really keep pulling out tissues. You just end up with this soggy piece of tissue that doesn't soak anything up, but you just wipe your nose a bit on it and wipe your eyes with, and it doesn't work because it's absolutely soaking with upset. But she's like, oh, have you got where can I put these tissues? I'd love to have been in that room. I would have said, oh, leave them there, I'll use them later because they haven't been used. This is why I'm sat here and Detective Isom is there, because he can control it. I won't be able to control it. Anyway, so it was just a quick one really on the Ploys and the fact that I think they've been put in place by Wendy, all these things. I think she sat and had the conversations with her mum, but I think her mum is too brash to come up with things that are so well thought out. Also, Wendy thinks they are well thought out and planned. She's just like a bull in a china shop, like boom. Yeah, so that was it anyway. So if for any reason this doesn't get through on YouTube, I can't see why not, but if it doesn't, I'll put it on my Patreon. But just to thank my patrons as well. Well, my patrons, sorry. Yeah, if you're interested, I'm putting stuff on there that is exclusive, that I'm not putting on YouTube. It does have early bird access on there to a few things. There's things on there that that are not on YouTube, and I won't ever put on YouTube. So and it's just the Tidgety. Yeah, and that's it. So stick around for the next. Oh, I'll tell you what I wanted to say. That was it. Put a video on about Markel Hecko, who murdered his girlfriend's new boyfriend, and the boyfriend was actually married. He was still married with 2 kids. He was in bed with this girl, and this Marek Hecko went in. It's there, you can watch it all anyway. But in that, the wife, who found out that her husband had been murdered while he was in bed with this other girl, she wrote a tribute to him, and it's so lovely. And I did say in that video, and you know, that Wendy is how you write a tribute to the father of your children. She wasn't even with him, and from what I can gather, she still loved him, but she was still close to his family, even though he was seeing somebody else. She's still close to his family, and still said about how much of a great dad he was, and how she loved and missed him. And it's just a lovely letter anyway. If you want to tribute, if you just want to listen to it, it's on that. Anyway, I'm going to say good night, take care, stay safe, and come back. Bye.